Okay. Yeah, they're somewhat clean, but I'm going to take a wire brush to these and clean them off, and then find out what size thread that is, and then clean off the threads. And then we'll put some of that rust inhibitor on these, and we'll get this thing back together. All right, nice and clean. Get a little more of that on there. I'll wipe it off later. Just get these nice and cleaned up. I'll really thank myself next time I take this deck off for doing this. Usually I just replace bolts, but these are washer head, and they come to a point, so they're easier to put on. These things, well, if I can find them locally, washer heads, they're like $1.25 a piece. I don't want to spend that kind of money on this. So we got the threads cleaned up, and we're going to put that rust inhibitor on it. Now let's get the threads in the holes on the deck cleaned up and start putting this back together. We'll see if we got enough time tonight. Otherwise, it's going to be first thing in the morning. Okay, I ran out of time for today. I got a couple hours in the morning before I got to get the grass cut, but we should be able to get everything done by then. I'm hoping I can get this cleaned up, but at least we'll get the tire pressure checked, the oil checked, and the air filter and that stuff. I can clean the thing later if need be. I do have to get the grass cut tomorrow. But I got some good news as well. We were pumping through on this one and a little bit on that one. That's that one right there. And I don't have anything from this one. I'm out of grease, so these took quite a bit. I'm going to fill up the grease gun, and I'm going to pump until I get something out of that one. And I'm going to pump a bit more into that one. I'm going to leave this one alone. This is kind of watery, but that's the Marvel Mystery Oil in there. Good, good, good. Yeah, I was really worried about getting the grease into those because it's been a while, and I find it kind of weird that they don't have a place to get a wrench on them. They're just the part where you hook up to, and then it goes right to threads. So if you really want to get them out, you gotta get a vice grips on this part, and then if you mangle that up, then you're kind of shit out of luck. Okay, I will get back with you in the morning, and we will wrap this up. Quick update. I checked the grease gun. I didn't think it could be empty, and it wasn't. There was just a little bit of an airlock. So I let a little bit of grease go out here, came over here and pumped it, and I got the Marvel Mystery lube comes out first, and then a blob of grease. And there's a good sized blob of grease on the underside of both those pulleys. So everything is fully greased. Good, good, good. I'm really impressed with the Zerks zapper and the lock and lube. Yeah, that really helped me out. All right, now I'll see you tomorrow. Because of the rust that I saw when I was cleaning these threads yesterday, I let these sit in the evaporust overnight, and then early this morning I came and rinsed these with hot water, and then I sprayed them with that rust proofing, and they look fantastic. We'll get these back on the machine now. I'm not going to have time to do any cleaning on this, but, well, I'm going to clean this little area out. I'll get that done some other day. Right now, I got to get this going because, again, we are really pressed for time. Okay, I got this front area brushed out as good as I could with a brush. It's going to have to stay that way until I give this a thorough clean, which should be pretty soon. Another thing I should mention is I tried moving this in neutral and only one wheel is turning. I can't get this wheel to turn. So hopefully there's not a problem with that. Yeah, this wheel is kind of jammed. We'll get it started and see if that helps at all. Yeah, I can't get it into neutral. That wheel will roll. That's why it's kind of cocked like that. All right, let's get this deck in there. Well, let me get that sweeped up. Then we'll get the deck in there and get the belt on and continue our spring maintenance work. What do we got left? I'm sure I just went over this, but that was yesterday for me. Okay, just check the oil, check the air filter and the tires, and level the deck. Yeah, we got a good amount of work to do. I didn't notice this when I was taking this apart, but the hole in this bracket here is really messed up as well. This is where that pin that I replaced goes through. I'm going to have to look online and see if we can find those, but I could probably, I think we got enough room there, just weld a washer onto there. Yeah, that would probably be the way to do it, or just weld right in here and then re-drill the hole through the weld. All right, either way, that's going to have to be fixed before too long. Gotta adjust this a little bit. This has to go onto there. I was getting ready to install the deck, and just for the heck of it, I turned the page to see if they had different instructions for the belt, and they do. This one, you have it at 2.5 instead of 3. Otherwise, it goes on the same way it came off. All right, we should be able to figure this out. They got a better picture on this one now. It goes around that, and then it zigzags through there, and then goes around that idler pulley. Yeah, they got these hands in the way. Still in the way, but we'll get it figured out. I'm going to try getting some belt conditioner on there. This stuff works great, stops any squealing, and it prolongs the life of the belts. I don't want to get it all over the place, though. It's kind of sticky. I think I'm just going to use some cardboard, put some cardboard under there, and get this part. I'm not sure how easy this will be to turn by hand. I could do it, you know, kind of from the side here as well, once the belt's installed. Yeah, I think I'll give that a try. I don't know if this is even going to work. I've probably had this can for 20 years. I use it on the woodworking machinery as well. It goes a long way. That's it. All right, I can turn that so if my belt conditioner is going to work, I'm going to spray the belt right here. And it's going to take a while because this is a long belt. I forgot these washers. They go right on here on the other side of that clip. It'll just take a second. I'm going to throw these on. And then I'm going to throw on these covers. And then we are done with, oh no, we're going to have to do some leveling. I'm going to do it different than I did last time. I believe I said that already. I'm just going to level the deck right here, and I'm going to see how the cut is. I believe that should be all I need to do. The height might be a little bit off, but again, we'll see how it does. Leveling to the blades is really difficult. Well, it's not that bad, but it's really time consuming. If I can do it to the deck, that is the way to do it. And we'll see what the height is. I should be able to just measure up to the blade and then figure out what the difference is to the deck. And then I'll measure here and up front and then on the other side in the same place. And that should do it for the deck leveling. Let's get these things on real quick. Okay, I got my air hose out here. This is a 50-foot long hose, and we're right at the end of this. This goes all the way to the other side of the shop. At some point, we're going to have air coming through the wall right here and over to the end right there. And we're going to have a hose reel so we can fill tires on the cars outside, and it'll work in here, obviously. But for now, we just made it. Let me get my pressure gauge. We'll get the tires to the correct pressure. Then we can do the deck adjusting. All right. These rear tires go to 12, and they're at 11. No, that is actually 12. Good. And the front ones are 22 pounds. Now, you're supposed to set this at the highest setting, which is 4.5 inches. Tires got the proper pressure. So now, if you put the blade tips outwards, both of these, they should be at 4.5 inches. And if they need adjustment, you adjust it right here with this nut. And then you measure from this blade right here because this one's easier. And then you have this blade facing forward. And if that distance is more than 1/8 of an inch, then you adjust this right here. I don't know how other people do it, but the last time I cut a little 4.5-inch block, I didn't want to do that again because my miter saw isn't connected to the dust collection, but I went and did it anyways. So you just stand that up and then adjust it until the blade just touches the top. Do it on both sides. Yeah, I'm just going to do it, get this adjusted, and then I'm going to measure the deck height right where I said. I'll put a black mark on there and write that down. And next time, I'm just going to measure to the deck because this is a pain in the butt. The blade is up underneath there, and you got to lay on the ground to get at it and all that stuff. But we'll do it correctly, and then we're going to do it from right at this corner on both sides and the front, right on the deck next time. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing. I have this holding the deck up so that I'm not lifting the deck with this nut here. And now I have it snugged, and we are just a hair off, like 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to go a little bit more with that and then take this stuff out. And then the very last little bit of adjustment I'll do without this stuff under there. Get a couple turns on this. Yeah, having something taking this weight off is really the way to go. All right, I'm going to take this stuff out and then adjust it a little bit more, and then we'll go do the other side. It's kind of awkward. I'm holding this flap up with my elbow, but we are right at our cutting height there. Now I'm going to go adjust the other side, and then I'll come back and test this again, and then we'll do that front one. Okay, now that we got the weight off of that, we'll spritz this and get adjusting. This is what I was talking about. If you want to actually see under there, you got to put your head on the ground. I'm going to go get a towel, but you can feel it. It's got to go up a bit. Okay, that's it. Perfect. Okay, now we'll check the front. This is taking forever, but it'll be nice to have it really tuned up. Okay, so you just got to go back and forth between your two adjustments, and once you get down to just about the end, you'll adjust one of them a little bit too high, and then when you get the other one adjusted, that's going to bring it back down, and they should both be perfect. That's that one right there. The front one, I had to use the impact on. Well, I didn't have to, but it was really sticky. But I got that one up. It's a 1/16 different than these other ones, which is right in the middle of its setting, which is perfect. Now we'll get these covers back on, check the oil, and check the air filter. And then I got to get out. I don't know if you can hear that, but the neighbor's cutting their grass. Everybody has the same idea. Check the oil, check the filter, get this stuff out of the way, and we should be done. I don't know if this is even going to start. We've had a few issues with this starting last year, but I think replacing that plug should do the trick, and charging it, but we'll see in a minute. Let's get this open and check that stuff out and get done with this video. The oil is starting to get dark, but it'll be good enough to get the grass cut today. You can see, yeah, it's about halfway there, and it's at the right level. I think what I'm going to do is just change the oil. Well, we'll check this filter. To change the oil, you unstrap this and you have to pull it down, and then it has to go into a funnel and into your catch pan. Not that big of a deal, but I just don't have time right now. So I'm going to change the oil, but I'm going to wait probably a good month. That's still pretty good oil. All right, I'm going to go clean this pre-filter, and we'll see what that filter looks like. This was changed not that long ago, but it's getting kind of dirty. I'm going to change the filter when I change the oil again in about a month, but I'm going to go wash this pre-filter, and I'm going to get out and cut the grass. Yeah, I'm going to order a new filter and pre-filter. I believe they come together, but they might not. But this is going to be plenty good for today. All right, I'm gonna have to clean up later. I am so late. Hopefully this starts.